Hey everybody, welcome back. So, this is not going to be a traditional Wiggy's Wilderness video. This is going to be a phone conversation between myself and my dad and uncles and aunt, and they're going to talk about the conditions that they grew up in. These are going to be some old stories, but they are interesting. How they started out in Indianapolis, and because of all the crime in the area, Grandpa moved the family down to a very rural farm in Bloomfield, Indiana, where they grew up in what we would now call extreme poverty. But it does make for some interesting stories. There is some foul language in here. For lack of a better term, this is going to be a lot of old folks sitting around talking, so that's how they talk. So, but if we don't get these stories out there now, they're going to be lost forever. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and without further ado, here you go. Okay, everybody, welcome back, and today is going to be our first audio episode. Here in just a moment, I'll be calling my dad. He's got my aunt and uncle with him, and they're going to be talking about some of their experiences growing up in rural Indiana. And it should be pretty interesting. People don't really grow up that way much anymore. So here in just a minute, we will give them a call. Are you there?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Alright, good.
I got you on speaker.
Okay, alright.
So, don't know how we're going to do this. So, you're going to...
Well,
I guess the information's there, you just got to pull it out of us.
let's start from the beginning. So, your childhood began in Indianapolis, right?
Right.
Alright, so what did Grandpa do in Indianapolis?
Dad worked at Curry Miller's veneer mill.
Mm-hmm.
That was his main job. He, let's see, he had several other enterprises there. He was a taxi cab driver.
Mm-hmm.
Him and another guy had a thrift shop at one time in downtown Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy that he was hooked up with, they had the thrift shop, but they also cleaned out basements and stuff. That's how they outfitted the stores. And in addition to that, sometimes they would sell produce. They'd have us kids sitting on the tailgate of a truck, running up and down the streets of the side streets in Indianapolis, and he was hollering out homegrown tomatoes and stuff like that, homegrown corn. And yeah, that was pretty neat. But he always did something to make money.
Yeah.
But he really liked selling produce, I know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's what he ended up doing. Good at it, ultimately.
Yeah.
So,
Did your mom do anything, or was she a stay-at-home mom?
no, Mom actually worked at Sexton's canning factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't remember. She worked on an assembly line or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something to do with making the cans and putting labels on them.
Okay.
Seems like it was canned meat or something. It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it just Sexton. I'm trying to think. I keep going to Campbell Soup, but that's not. They made the cans for Campbell Soup, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Sexton's had their own brand of stuff, I think. I don't know. We could probably research that and find out.
Yeah.
I'm sure she told us, but hell, we don't know. Yeah, we didn't give a shit back then.
Okay.
All we was wondering was, what are we going to eat?
Yeah.
That was long before my time. Yeah, that was long before Ronald here.
Okay. So about what time period would that have been?
Say again?
About what time period would that have been?
Oh, let me see.
1950s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely, because I was born in 52,
Mm-hmm.
and it was either 59 or 60 when we moved to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's a long time ago. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it wasn't a very good neighborhood up there. There was a lot of crime.
We're in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's why Mom and Dad both wanted to get all his kids out of Indianapolis, because, there's so much crime there, and we're so used to it. Like the kids we run around with at school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all the same. But, stealing cars, shit like that was nothing for them.
Yeah.
Break into train cars and stuff like that. That was just a normal activity.
Mm-hmm.
They say everybody does it. You want a car? Let's go get you a car.
Yeah.
Want a hot wire car or something like that? And fortunately, Dad seen this stuff coming. Mom and Dad did. And that's why they bought the farm out there, to get us out of that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't think nothing about, stealing stuff, because you were convinced that
everybody did.
Everybody did it. If you want it, it's yours. All you got to do is go get it. They didn't say it was illegal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just what you were brought up to think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in, you said 1959 or 1960, you moved out to the farm. And
yeah,
where was that at?
the farm?
Yeah.
It was out in Bloomfield.
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Okay. How many acres was it originally?
20.
20 acres. Okay.
I remember when Dad bought that, had a handwritten contract, bought the farm and everything that was on it for $4,000.
Wow.
Had a house, a barn, a smokehouse, chicken houses, outhouse. That burnt down.
Oh.
Dad might have had a little too much to drink when he got off work. And right where the farmhouse was, if you were standing in front of the house looking at it, the smokehouse was off to the right and set back just a little bit.
By the pear tree?
Pear tree?
Or by the tree?
Apple.
Apple
Yeah,
tree.
it was right by the apple tree.
Yeah.
And, it had a lot of neat stuff in it. It had old railroad jacks. It even had damn fishing poles in it. Had all kind of antique tools. Well, they're antique now, but back then they weren't that damn old. And all them weeds started growing up around there. And Dad got off work, or no, this was on a weeknight. I don't know. I just remember it was getting close to being dark, and he decided it was time to burn those weeds out there around the smokehouse, and it burnt down.
Oh, man.
And that's how we broke the old pump. It was one of those big hand pumps, that come up about 10 high.
Mm-hmm.
We pumped the hell out of that, throwing buckets of water on it. It finally just burnt to the ground.
Mm.
Like we got the house too, but we were lucky there.
Yeah.
It had a lot of neat stuff in it.
How many brothers and sisters did you have? Well, all together.
3 sisters.
How
Wait
many?
a minute. No, 4. Terry Joe.
Yep.
4 brothers and 3 sisters.
You got Pat, Patricia Ann, Alice Jane, Donald. What's your middle name?
Ray.
Yeah, Donald Ray, Gary
Lee.
Elmore Wigington Jr., and Ronald Eugene. and then you had Barbara, Renee, or Reen. They pronounced it Reen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Harry Joe came after Ron. He was born when they lived in Bloomfield. He only lived 3 days.
yeah.
He's buried at Bloomfield, in real close to Mo and Joe.
Yeah. He's buried at their head, behind their headstone.
Mm-hmm. So how many people did you have living in the house in all?
It varied.
Yeah, mom, dad, and 5, 6 kids.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes Gene and Rosie.
More often than not, Gene and Rosie were there with their 3. Little Gene, Will, and Kathy. Oh,
Yeah.
Kathy was next, and then Will.
Yeah.
So about 7 to 10 people at any given time?
Got 4 adults and 10 kids.
Yep. It was a little crowded.
Yeah. So it wasn't a very big house either, was it?
Say again?
It wasn't a very big house, was it?
Oh, hell no. 3 rooms downstairs and 1 big open room upstairs.
You could barely call it 3 rooms downstairs because they put a wall up underneath the stairs and just filled that in, and it was just big enough to get a full-size bed in there, and that was Joe and Elmo's bedroom.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Downstairs, it had the kitchen. That had a wood cook stove in it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a potbelly stove in the living room. And then that little bedroom of Mom and Dad. Everybody else sleep where the hell you can.
And 1 room upstairs.
Yep. 1 big room. And when it snowed in the winter, the snow was bolted to the siding. Yep. With no insulation, no walls, no nothing. No electricity.
Yeah, no electricity.
Yep.
How long were you guys without power out there?
Well, from the time I was 8 till I was 14 before we got power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only because the neighbor, Henry Brewer, had that pasture next door, and he wanted to put his cows out there. So they came up to the house. Fortunately, Dad hadn't went to bed yet because he worked 7 nights a week. And they asked Dad, or they told Dad, he said, if we can plug into your electricity to run our fence charger, to keep the cows in, he said, we'll pay your light bill. Dad said, that'd be fine, but we don't have electricity. So the guy said, you don't? He said, no. So he said, well, what about if we put electricity in for you? Then could we? And we'll still pay you bill. Dad said, sure. I mean, the light bill was only like $3 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And they put us a light bulb in the living room. I don't think we had one in the kitchen, just a light bulb in the living room. And then they run a wire out to the barn and put a light bulb out there so I could feed and milk the cows. So
Yeah, before that.
was up township there now. I didn't have to carry a lantern out there.
Yeah.
No bathroom. No. No bathroom. It was an outhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Joe kept a pot in the kitchen. She put up a sheet to make it a little room back in the corner so she'd have a bathroom in the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the winter.
In the winter.
In the wintertime.
In the basement or?
Huh?
There was a hand pump in the kitchen or?
Yeah, it was in the kitchen behind the stove. It had that wall. Then there was like a little pantry area, but that pipe was busted.
Busted in the underneath the house,
Yeah.
in the little root cellar or whatever it was.
Yeah.
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 And that water comes from the cistern. The rabbits would get in and die, and you have to bucket all the water out and fill it full, put some bleach in there and let it fill back up. Yep.
At that time, Ronald was the small one. So he got down in the well, and we handed him a bucket, and he'd put the dirt and stuff in the bucket, and we'd pull it up with a rope. The mud, yeah. And then, still getting the shitty job. He said he's still getting the shitty job too, so. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to... Why? Okay, where'd the mud come from that he had to put in the bucket?
It's what? Something about the bucket. Oh, what about the bucket?
Where did the mud come from? Like, what kind of job is this?
The well. You had to dig the bottom of the well out.
Oh.
It was just a shoot. Well, that wasn't even 4 foot before. It was like 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot.
Oh, okay. So it would fill back in.
We lowered him down in there, and then a bucket, and then we tied a rope on the bucket, and he's just digging underneath his feet. You know, because he's the only one that could turn around in there.
Oh, my God.
And we'd raise that up with a rope, dump it, and send it back down to him. So, and then eventually, Dad was really concerned about, as long as the cows were over there, it was fine, but when they were farming that, Dad didn't want to use the water because he was afraid of the chemicals running down the hill into the well. So that's when we started going down to Cold Springs Road and carrying water. You know, jugs of water back to the house, drinking water. So, and that was some good water. We even found, where was that place that had a pipe running out of the hill? Cold Springs. That was Cold Springs? That was Cold Springs. That's right, that's right. And it run across the road into the creek. Right past that old guy's house with the copperheads were, remember them? Otis Helms. Or not Otis, not Otis. Otis was a bus driver. Yeah. Yeah. It was a relative of his. His last name was Helms. We used to buy eggs from him. See you did.
Yeah.
I saw him go out and wring a rooster's neck one day because we were over there visiting, and the rooster went after our son, Larry, and flogged him. And Elmo goes, "That'll be the end of that." And he walked right out, grabbed that rooster, and wrung its neck when we had it for supper.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Livestock had to walk the line back in them days.
Yeah.
Livestock.
They stopped laying eggs. That's your ass. He's gonna be in the pot.
Yeah.
He paid me $5 a week to feed his hogs when we were living there in our 10-by-40 trailer, where his trailer was in later years. I'd carry 50-pound sacks of feed, one on each shoulder, and walk up that hill to the barn, and I'd feed those hogs every day.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have to come out there like in the winter or whatever.
How many different types of animals did he have out there?
Shit, we had hogs. We had the mule.
Mm-hmm.
We had cows, chickens, turkeys. At one time, had geese and ducks. Yep. And damn geese, boy, they'd chase you ass. Guineas, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Trying to get the mule to plow the garden.
So what did Grandpa do out there? He said he worked 7 days a week. I know not all of it was on the farm there.
Once he moved to the farm, originally he moved Mom and us kids up there. He kept a job in Indianapolis. He would only come home on the weekends if he could, unless he got snowed in or something. So, shit, where was I going with that story?
Where do you work? He wants to know where he was working.
The veneer factory, wasn't it? Yeah, he was working at Curry Miller's veneer mill, but he had put in a job application out at the brickyard there in Bloomfield, and they told him if they ever got an opening to call, and he would come down and go to work there. So they finally called him, and he can't. I don't know how many. Was it 6 months or so? He stayed in Indianapolis, and it was just Mom and us kids out there at the farm doing the best we could to get along, or to get by. So once he moved out there, then things got a little better, but goddamn, they worked him to death, 7 nights a week. That's why I never had time. I never really got to know him all that well.
Yeah.
Except getting my ass beat, he was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Well, what you deserve. Yeah, and there was a lot that he didn't know about that I should have got my ass whooped in. But
in later years, he went to work at the Jack Factory.
Yeah, me and Dad worked together at the brickyard, and then, what was it? They were coming up, whenever I quit the brickyard, I went to work at the tire shop over in Linton, and Dad stayed at the brickyard. Then no, damn it. There's something missing here because I worked the brickyard. I ended up working at the Jack Factory because I got Dad a job there. Right. I had every.
He worked at Don worked at Bowden, but he's wanting to know where Elmo worked.
Yeah. The only jobs Dad had there was working the brickyard, and from there he went to the Jack Factory. I think he didn't have nothing else, did he? He worked for that farmer. He worked for Bob Carr. Cutting fence posts. Cutting and loading fence posts. And he'd pay me and Dad a dime a post, and he paid Elmer and Gary a nickel a post. So me and Dad, we was hustling, man. And the only reason I got a dime a post is because Bob Carr, I know he was working with a broken leg, had it in a cast or something, and he had trouble lifting those posts up. And what you did, you're down in a valley where the tractor was, so you're up on both sides of the hill cutting posts, and you had to flip the post off your shoulder enough so it would flip like 3 times before it hit the bottom. And Dad was doing that, and then Elmer and Gary, they were down at the bottom laying the posts on a chain so he could wrap it around and snag them out of the woods.
How old were you?
Oh, shit, probably 12 or 13. But I went up the hill when Bob was struggling with the posts, and I took the posts away from him, and I started flinging them down the hill. So he paid me a dime a post, too. So that added up, man. That was more money than we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Hell, I think me and Dad made like $8 a day. And you and Gary made, of course, Dad ended up with all of it.
Well, of course.
But that was beer money,
Yeah.
But hell, Dad got beer, we got chicken. And damn glad to get it, too.
Yep. The Jack Factory's still there. It's a High Lift Jacks.
Yep.
I don't think the brickyard is in operation anymore.
No, they closed that down and covered it all up, and there's a factory there now, I think, ain't there?
Yeah. Is that meat packing?
No. Metal tech, yeah.
But there was a lot of times Dad had to walk the railroad tracks to go to work at the brickyard.
Yeah.
What was it? 5 miles?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
5 miles down the railroad tracks.
Yeah, the Bluefield.
Yeah. And there was a lot of times when I got older, I was 16, and if I was out on a date or something, I mean, I'd just go in there and sometimes that's when the kilns were fired with coal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know Dad's back was hurting him, so I pull in there and I just tell my dad, you got to wait on me. Helen Cox, Helen.
Oh, okay, Merlin.
And I pull in there and I'd help him fire the keels, and then they call them keels. They were kilns, K-I-L-N. And then we'd go on our way, and you know that helped him out a lot. But when I worked there, I started out loading bricks. You know, they had a big bander where it had like 7 or 8, or maybe 8 or 9 stations all the way around the bander, and it rotated in the center. And it was your job, the guy that unloaded the kilns, he would stack those bricks out in front. So, and his job was to keep everybody in bricks. So you would start out, you'd pick up 10 bricks at a time, just with your hands, you know, clamp them together, and that's how you loaded so they could be banded. And, well, I was young, and I was in pretty good shape back then. Joyce was pretty damn heavy, and she could jump on my chest and my stomach, and it wouldn't phase me a bit. But I got pretty good at that, so an opening came up to pull cars out of where they make the shale into bricks, and it was wet. The wet bricks on the little cars, and that was piecework. So if I pull 80 cars out a day, no matter how long it took me, that was a day. I get paid a whole day's wages. So I got pretty quick at that. I was getting off at noon. So from there, I went over to the garage there on the brickyard, and I started working in the garage as a mechanic.
Yeah.
So worked for old Carl Schaefer, shade tree mechanic, what they call it, shade tree. Weeds. Yeah, Mom would take this great big old bowl and go out behind the barn, and what she was cutting was poke salad. Oh, yeah. Poke and make salad out of it. I mean, plenty of roughage. But damn,
yeah.
That was rough. And then that year that Uncle Gene was working on the Alaskan pipeline as a welder, and he dropped Rosie and the kids off with us. And, you know, that tiny ass little house, and we didn't have no food, so we ate mush for a damn year. Boiled mush, fried mush, any damn way you could make mush.
Elmer can't even look at the stuff.
And I'm telling you, that was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine.
Weeds and mush.
So it wasn't a whole lot of hunting out there and not much time for fishing, huh?
Well, we didn't have no way to go fishing. Oh, we didn't have no way to go. I mean, the river was too far away for us to walk.
We go down the creek and fish, but
sometimes we catch.
hell, we didn't know what to.
They did have squirrels and rabbits, though.
Well, when we got old enough.
Well, Dad would have us walking and beating the brush and shit, so the rabbits would come out and shoot them.
So I learned to make box traps. Then we started having rabbits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
later years, they built that pond across the road.
Yeah, I remember George McCombs built that. I remember George McCombs built that pond over there for Malcolm Condor. And I used to carry him water from the well out there. And, I mean, I just enjoyed watching him. I wasn't wanting nothing in return. But he brought me a motor. It was attached to a board, his little Riggs and Stratton motor. It was, a 1 or 1.5 horse. I didn't have the biggest clue what to do with that damn thing, but I got it running. And I don't know how I did it, but I could crank it up and it'd run sitting there, but I didn't know what to do with it. But anyway, I carried him water the whole time he was building that pond and clearing out for that house. Do you remember that pond across from the farm?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I watched him build that. And like I said, I carried him water the whole time he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Well, we got 2 hills back there. If we just had a dam across it, we'd have us a pond." And he brought his dozer over there. He said, "Oh my God." He said, "It'd take me 3 weeks to build a pond in here."
Mm-hmm.
But he kept messing around and he dug us a pond and didn't charge a damn thing. He said, just make sure it's good for your dad. He don't care. He'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a little, it was a little pond. It didn't take him. I was trying to dig it out with a damn shovel. And me and Dad got in so many arguments over that because he wanted me to work like a damn slave out there, and it was pissing me off. So anyway, George brought his dozer over there. Took him about 3 hours, and we had a pond. And there was fish in it one time.
Every new school year, there's a man named Farmer that ran a shoe store in town. And it was Farmer's Shoe Store. So every year, he would bring all the kids in and give them a new pair of shoes to start school. So that's how they got their new school shoes every year.
Yeah.
I see.
What the hell is that teacher's name? She'd buy us a load of coal. Edwards. She was my 4th grade teacher. Buy us a load of coal. Edwards. I don't know whether the first, I don't remember. I think it was Edwards. Yeah. Oh, she was the old lady. Been there forever. Yeah. Huh. She used to paddle my ass with a ping pong. Well, I bet you deserve Yeah. I was always a good. Uh-huh. Yeah, right. I wasn't. But I sure did like wood shop, and they sure did like me in wood shop.
Yeah.
Guess we'll close the blinds. It looked like a drive-in movie out here. I can. Want me to get it? I don't see anything. Want me to get this one? I'll get it. No, by God, sit down. I'll get it. God damn, you worked me like a dog all day. I might as well shut it down. Jesus Christ, you feed him and everything. This is what you get. You're going the wrong damn. There you go. Give me time. I got it. Jesus Christ. Sit down. About wore out. I'll get it. Man. This is the shit I gotta put. Hey, we got it. That's under control. Where was we?
Okay, so for the longest time, I think you guys only had the one gun out there, that one J.C. Higgins 12 gauge pump
That's
action.
right.
That's the one that Grandpa used for rabbit hunting and used y'all as rabbit dogs.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had to bark too. A lot of times.
Get the rabbits moving.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it worked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You always got rabbits.
Yeah, I think the story behind that gun, didn't it originally belong to Uncle Armin? Was that his name?
That's right.
Yeah. And they went squirrel hunting, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Uncle Armin told me the reason he got rid of that gun, well, he bought it to go squirrel hunting with Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And him and Dad went hunting. And what he said, Dad was just a few steps behind him or something. And, well, I don't know. Dad shot 4 times, got 4 squirrels. And Uncle Armin said he didn't hear a thing. And it was to go, and Dad was standing right behind him, and I think that's what he said. Dad was standing, it was really close by, and he never heard him shoot the first time.
Wow.
He said, well, I'm done. So he gave that gun to Dad, and Dad had it all the way up till he died.
Mm-hmm.
And then Uncle Armin gave me the gun because I remember at that time that Uncle Armin bought the gun and gave it to Dad all those years. So when Dad died, I felt like it was the right thing to offer it back to Uncle Armin, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, no, the gun is yours. So I kept it for a while, and then Elmer wanted it, so I broke it down and mailed it to him. So he's got it now.
Yeah.
I had it for a long time.
Did you?
I gave it to one of you guys. Yeah, to give it to him.
You gave it to me when Dad died.
Yeah.
And then after you gave it to me, I wanted to make sure when Uncle Armin and Betty came out to your house after the funeral, because Oath was wanting the gun,
Right.
and I didn't want to give it to him. And I figured the right thing to do was offer it back to Uncle Armin. And that's when he said, no, the gun is yours. So that's how that happened. So your Uncle Elmer's got the gun now.
Oh, okay.
So
I do remember it.
Gun safe up there in Missouri.
I remember it. I remember we found it when we went up there to Grandpa's trailer after he passed away, when we were taking care of his effects and everything. And I remember that day trying to do a little squirrel hunting, trying to get that fox squirrel out back behind the trailer. And I remember us breaking it down and cleaning it a few times at your house. Yeah.
Well, that's a noisy ice maker, ain't it? Oh, all it makes ice, I don't give a shit.
Okay. Yeah. And I think the only other gun that I ever remember you talking about out there was a .22 that one of your brothers bought.
Yeah. Oh, a 22. 22 pistol.
Oh, was it?
I've got that pistol now.
Okay.
I didn't realize whenever I got divorced that from my first wife that I had sold that to Elmer. All those years I thought I had traded it back to the gun dealer on a Winchester Model 12 gauge that I had. But I I used to drink a lot back then. I know that's hard to believe. But
I'm seeing a pattern with our family here.
I had sold that gun to Elmer, and what was it, 30 years? Something like that? A long time. I had looked for a gun like that and never could find it. Well, for one thing, I was remembering the wrong model number. And then, how many years ago was that then? That we were talking about that?
And that was a H&R break top 9-shot 22 revolver. Yeah.
And guess what? Elmer had it, and I got it now. It's sitting right here behind me. Loaded with rat shot. That ain't worth a damn for shooting a snake with.
Ain't worth a damn for shooting nothing now.
I mean, all it did was piss that snake off, and I shot him all 9 times. And then got the 12 gauge and finished him off.
Well, you live right next to that lake there, and those snakes are mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember you talking about...
The gun that you gave me, that 12 gauge, I got it out in the garage.
Yeah.
It stays loaded, and it's got one of those bands on it with 5 or 6 more shells on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And your buddy that put that silver bead on it for me done a good job.
Yep. Yeah.
I can see that one. Or I can't see a brass one.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. How's he doing?
Let's see. They closed down the gunsmith shop, but he's still poking along out there. They're still making it. Yeah.
Well, I still got that little 410 we bought from him.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Can't even see it, can you? I can see it. Right there.
And I've got the 410 that you had. That was the first gun I ever shot when I was, I think, 4.
Oh, that's the one. Me and Elmer bought you that gun. Oh no, we bought that for Ronald.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was stationed down at Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good little gun, and there's a lot of good memories with that gun.
Yeah.
That was Ronald's first gun.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting right here.
Hey.
Yeah, Raymond's taking good care of it. There you go.
Yep, I've killed a couple squirrels with it.
Movie about it. I see, man. Yep.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I've
still got it. I like the 410. It's a good round. But you bought that when you was stationed at Myrtle Beach, and I remember you saying that's where Mr. Shorty taught you how to shoot the handgun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now he was.
His real name was Ed James.
Yeah.
But he used to work for the FBI.
Right.
And his wife worked for the CIA. And he was a midget.
Yeah.
But damn, he was tough and mean.
I remember him. I remember he was just a ball of muscle. There wasn't a spot on him that wasn't a muscle.
He had so many muscles. He lift weights and stuff, and the doctor made him stop lifting weights because it was constricting his heart.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he was tough as nails.
Yeah.
And mean. God damn, boy, I'm glad I stayed on his good side.
Mm-hmm. And apparently he was a good shot with a pistol too.
Oh hell yeah, he was deadly.
Yeah. So he taught you point shooting is what it sounds like. It was more instinctive shooting.
Say again?
It sounded like he taught you how to point shoot, or like instinctive shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pull it out of the holster and shoot.
Yeah, quick draw.
Without aiming, because it's all muscle control.
Mm-hmm.
So I got where I never used a peep sight, never used nothing. Just pull it out and shoot. You see it on westerns. You think that's bullshit? It ain't.
Yeah.
You pull it out, and I mean you're dead on. Period.
So you were telling me, was it last week or the week before, the winter of '63?
Yeah.
When y'all was snowed in?
Oh, yeah. Man, it snowed so much and it drifted. We were down in the bottom of the valley off of North Drive, and we had big hills on both sides of us. In the winter of '63, it snowed so much it drifted over the house. And you remember that, Elma? Well, let me keep talking, and you might remember part of it. I was only a year old. Yeah. Ron was only a year old.
Oh, yeah.
He pissed me off, so I hung him on a nail in the wall. And, in the back of his shirt. Yeah. And anyway, it snowed so damn much, you opened the window or a door, either one, and it was nothing but a solid wall of snow. And I mean, it was packed. So we were stranded inside that house. Dad was in Indianapolis, so it was just Mom and us kids out there. And we survived inside that house for 2 weeks before we could get out. If you needed water, you opened the door and scoop you up a bucket of snow, set it on the stove. Now, how did we get wood? We burnt every damn thing in the house. We had a piano in there that we busted up in the living room floor. That was firewood.
I remember that.
We burnt shoes, we burnt books, we burnt anything that was burnable. But we survived for 2 weeks before we could tunnel out and get out away from the house and see outside. That was bad.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that one. I was too young.
Yeah. Well, yeah, shit, you wasn't very old at all. I was 11.
Well, you'd have been 9.
Well, yeah, but I remember something. That's a long time ago.
I took shit a little more serious than you did back then.
Well, I was in charge.
Because I got my ass beat so much. But
What about the time Elmer took your brand new clothes and wore them down?
Man, I still feel bad about that. One of the farmers I worked for, one Christmas, bought me a new pair of pants and a shirt. Boy, I love that shirt and pair of pants. I mean, they look coordinated and shit for a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elmer said he looked good in them. So one time, I don't know, I was out working or something, and he took my new clothes and put them on and went somewhere.
What
And then
I
was working at the brickyard.
I was on top of the brickyard.
Yeah,
He was coming down the hill.
he was coming down the brickyard hill on a bicycle, and he got going so fast he crashed. But he had my new clothes on.
I had some tires or something for a bicycle on the handlebars.
Yeah,
And I couldn't hold got it shaking so much, couldn't hold it.
and I come out of the brickyard in my car. This is pitiful. I'm ashamed of myself now. I think about that. I've apologized a million times, and I'll keep doing it. I was more mad at him for taking my clothes and destroying them because he crashed, tore the damn legs of britches out, elbows, knees, and it took a while for me to get around to the park. Are you okay?
Still got scars on
Hell yeah.
right there.
Well,
Tell them how your mom took care of it.
The iodine and
Kerosene.
mercurochrome.
I poured
Yeah.
kerosene on it first.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
I think the final fix, though, was putting the dirt dauber's nest on it. That cured every damn thing. All the cuts and stuff, dirt dauber nest. Remember how we used to have them?
That might have been the one where we were swinging on them grapevines.
Oh, shit.
And they were a year old, and I got on that one, and that son of a bitch must seem like it's 30 foot in the air, but it probably wasn't 10 or 12. But that son of a bitch broke, and all I could do was grab a hold of the tree and slide down.
Jeez.
My belly, oh fuck! I couldn't lay on my belly for a month.
What was that? Those people's name lived in the chicken house down there by
Hall.
Billy Hall.
Really? It was me and Clarence.
Petey.
Me and Clarence was out squirrel hunting.
What was the old man's name that had them fucked up feet?
His name was Clarence, too.
Was that Clarence?
Yeah. But, see, his son, Tootie, they called him Clarence, too, because I think they made that his middle name. Me and him was out squirrel hunting, and I found a damn grapevine. And he swung out on it. He said, hey, man, come try this. So I did it. I weighed a little bit more than him. And about the time I got out as far as it would swing, it let go. And I fell. God knows that was a long way. It took the breath out of me. But I laid with my arms out, you know, like he was doing the angel thing in the snow. My arms were spread out. And right between my arms were two stumps where somebody had cut a tree, or cut two trees. I had a stump under each arm, and I just laid flat on the ground. Boy, if I'd have been a half inch either way, I'd have been seriously hurt for life. Mm-hmm. That was something. And then once I recovered from that, we went on hunting some more. And then Tootie leaned up against a damn dead tree that had a hornet's nest in it. And we were screaming and hollering. We got tore up by those damn hornets. I ended up leaving my gun there and everything. Came back a couple days later and got it. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just soaking it all in.
Okay.
That's a rough squirrel hunt.
We go here. So much shit happened back then, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
Sometimes till you trigger something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When did Grandpa move out of the old farmhouse there and into that trailer?
No, he did. They moved to town. They went to South Seminary Street in a house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
I can't remember the address, but it's right on South Seminary Street. But they stayed there for, a couple of years, 2-3 years. And then Mom and Dad both said, we need to go back to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
So is that when...
No, we lived on the farm for 4 years.
Okay, so they stayed
We
there.
moved out. Sarah was born in 71 in June. And it was just that following September that Pop co-signed for us because she wasn't very old. We moved into that trailer. Elmer hand-dug the septic tank hole.
Yeah.
And he thought he had it dug. And when I bought the septic tank for $20 more instead of a 300 tank, I could have a 500-gallon tank. So I paid the extra. So he had to go dig the hole bigger. And we put the trailer in. That was September of 71. And we lived there till 75 when Elmer joined the Air Force. He went in the Air Force in June or July of 75.
Now, were you still in the Air Force when we bought Mom and Dad that trailer?
Yeah, because he went in the Air Force in 75, and you put the trailer in the next year. We sold our trailer, moved it out, and the hookups were still there for the septic tank.
Yeah.
So bought that trailer and moved it in where our trailer was.
Yeah, I remember having this big Roger stalk up. Yeah. Maggot. Yeah. Maggot. Yeah. Yeah. It was it. But I remember many times trying to dig that damn hole for that power pole. And Gary set the electric box and the meter base. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that. I remember we had a hell of a time getting that where the power company come out and hook it up. Because I remember having a hell of a time with the weatherhead, they call it, on the top. And then my damn computer again. That damn thing. Now it'll take an hour to get it back on. Anyway, let me fix it. Yeah, I'll fix that damn thing. I'll throw it out in the yard. Okay. I forgot where I'm at now.
Yeah, you were talking about the weatherhead on the power.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a damn nice little trailer when they first got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't keep up the maintenance on them, they go to shit in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was better than anything they had.
They lived there for, good Lord, how many years they lived in that trailer?
Long.
Ron had a bedroom, Barb had a bedroom, and Joe and Elmo.
Yeah.
See, we moved out, so that was probably put in 76. Because, yeah, it was put in before we came back in 77.
And Dad was still living there.
When he passed away in 99.
So he moved to the high-rise 2 months prior.
2 months before.
2 months prior to that.
But that was still 99.
Yeah.
So they lived there for 20 years.
Well, in fact, I just got rid of, 4
ago, I just got rid of the furnace to come out of that trailer.
Wow. But Gary had bought a new furnace and put in it for him. And we just took the furnace and we used it all that time in ours. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In our garage.
Sure did.
And it was still working when we took it out of our garage.
Yep.
Wow.
We sold it last year.
Wow.
Yep. Sure did. I think I moved out of there in 83. What started the county 84, and that's when I got married.
In 84?
Damn.
Wow, I remember that like it was yesterday. I
Yeah.
remember that truck you was driving. Yeah. Hell yeah, I love that truck. I'd like to have that now. Those trucks are worth a lot of money nowadays.
Yeah, they are.
We're at about an hour here.
Okay.
So we'll try to wrap this up. How do you think that growing up over there and having all these experiences changed y'all for the better or worse? Did it change y'all for the worse?
I wouldn't trade that experience for nothing in the world.
Yeah.
We are survivors.
Mm-hmm.
We lived through that shit. We can live through anything.
They don't have sympathy for these people who are whining and crying and say they don't have help and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know how to. You're on the same plane we are. You know you can survive.
Yeah.
With or without any damn modern conveniences. You know the deal.
Yep. Okay.
So he can build a damn fire with a damn string bow.
Yeah. We can't. We had to have you if it came to that.
Yeah, we're too old for that shit now. You got to show up. You and Janet got to come and save the day here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got my little butane torch with, ignition starter and all that.
Yeah, I carry a lighter. Yeah, it's definitely different. People don't grow up like that anymore. And
Yeah.
even if they tried, Child Protective Services would probably get involved nowadays. But
Yeah. We went through a lot of hard times, but and we didn't like it. I'll guarantee you, we didn't like it.
Yeah.
But we can survive.
Yeah.
You may not like it, but you know how to get by. You know how to
Do without.
do without. Yeah, that's the main thing. You don't need all the modern conveniences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
Well,
though
what I do now.
Oh yeah, I'd be craving that shit now, but
Yeah,
back
it
then,
helps.
You didn't have it, so you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
If you've never been exposed to it, you don't know what you're missing. So,
Yeah.
and I'd take that experience of a lifetime. Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah, makes you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
A well-rounded person. I mean, people around us, they had more money than us.
Mm-hmm.
We were on damn sure the poor side of town. And we had other people, friends of ours, that were a hell of a lot better off. They're either dead or in jail. And here we are, all of my brothers, myself included, have been supervisors in big jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Successful, so we can do it from the bottom up. So
that's what you did in the Air Force. You retired as a master sergeant after 20 years.
Yep, I was in the top 3. I mean, I wasn't at the top, but I was in the top 3, which is a big accomplishment in itself. Being as they froze promotions there for several years.
Yeah.
Well, Dad and I was lazy. I mean, other than that. Damn it, man.
What did you do?
What would you have done if he'd have puked if you hit him like that, prick?
Elmer just hit Ron in the belly.
If he'd have blown Charles, it would have gotten and then I'd have had to make another one. I'd have had to wash my glass, too. Probably never got my beer. If I wasn't so tired, I'd kick. Hell no, you turned this way when you did that. Yeah, well, that's a pitch one. Oh, I forgot where we was at.
We was talking about the Air Force. But yeah, oh, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
I spent 20 years in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade that experience for nothing. That was one of the smartest, best decisions I ever made in my entire life.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course, and I'm sure you remember thinking this, what in the hell did I do? What was I thinking whenever I signed in papers?
Yeah, I remember that. I thought that for 4 years, and I just got out. Well, the Iraq War was pretty hot then.
Not one damn bit for all the shit that they put you through, which is not right.
Right.
I don't blame you a bit. I'd have done the same damn thing. I was just lucky that things fell the way they did as I progressed through the military.
Yep.
But
yeah, at the time, if I would have stayed in, I would have spent about half my time enlisted, deployed. You know, so I did my one deployment. I got done. It was about the end of my contract, and I said, nah, I think that's enough for me. And that was right during the height of Operation Iraqi Freedom, back in 2006. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and end this here. I appreciate y'all talking to me and everything, and I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time editing this.
I held on that. It's all true.
Well, yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, if you got more questions later on, you know.
I'll call you up.
Yeah. Now that we got the groundwork laid, if there's something else you want to know, all you got to do is ask.
Okay.
Did you find out a lot of what you were wanting to know, or did we just ramble?
No, but we got most of it. You know, I just wanted to know kind of what it was like growing up there with the old farmhouse, and you know, the jobs that everybody had, and growing up without power. You know, what do? Well, you take a lantern out to milk the cow instead of turning a light on.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just glad to have kerosene to run the lantern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll go ahead and get off of here. Thank y'all again. I love y'all. And I'll talk to you later.
Okay. We love you too, son. You take care. We love you.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Alright, so there you have it. The interesting way to grow up. Wow. And we'll have to do this again sometime if we can. Alright guys, that's all the time that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, thumbs up.